Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Jutha Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavanscha.
Can you imagine if all the power of Maya was in the form of one woman before you? Please do not try to imagine. So Maya Devi herself personified came into the forest. It was the darkness of night. Her body illuminated the whole forest with beautiful light. There were the most nectarine, irresistible, aromatic fragrances coming out of her body. The sight of her body, the fragrance from her body, could enchant even the greatest philosophers, even Brahma and Shiva could not resist it. She came to the cave of Haridas, who was sitting alone chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Maya Devi bowed down, and then she spoke. The sweetness of the sound of her voice was like nectar. Just one word would completely conquer anyone. And with all her powers, she began to speak to Haridas. Oh, Haridas, you are such a great devotee. You are so advanced, so pure, so exalted, so famous. And you are so beautiful, and your limbs are so strong, and you're so young, and so am I. I have come because I am longing to have union with you. Please satisfy my desire. Then she began to move her body in such a way that anyone would become completely defeated. Haridas Thakur said, yes, I will satisfy your desires. But I must first finish my chanting. I still have many rounds to do. When I finish my chanting, I will fulfill your desire. All night long, Haridas Thakur chanted. All night long, Maya Devi personified glanced at him with her beautiful eyes and displayed the most beautiful features of her body. But Haridas wasn't the slightest bit concerned. He just continued tasting the nectar of the holy names.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
The sun rose. Maya Devi left. She came back a second night. Haridas said, I'm sorry, but I haven't completed my vow of chanting yet. Actually, in this regard, Srila Prabhupada gives us good instruction. He explains how Haridas Thakur had a strict vow of chanting every day. His vow was chanting 300,000 names, which is approximately 192 rounds. And he would never chant less than that, because he was the Namacharya. Lord Chaitanya empowered Haridas Thakur to teach by his example that we must chant according to strict vow every day. Srila Prabhupada explains, in our Krishna consciousness movement we have set the minimum to 16 rounds. Even people of the Western countries, without much difficulty, if they are sincere, they can all finish chanting 16 rounds. And Srila Prabhupada explained how if anyone does not complete their 16 rounds every day attentively, at any moment that person will become a victim of Maya. Srila Prabhupada explains the 6 Goswamis, they also chanted the holy names strictly according to strict vows every day. Even though they were the most highly liberated souls, just to set the proper example for others, they never deviated. Srila Prabhupada explained that of all my instructions and all my books and lectures, the most important is that we must chant at least 16 rounds every day. It is not a matter of how much I feel like chanting. Haridas Thakur would chant that 192 rounds without exception. So Maya sat listening to him chanting for 3 nights in a row. After the 3rd night, she bowed down at the lotus feet of Haridas. She said, "Let me introduce myself. I am Maya Devi. I am the illusory potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I came here to test you. But you are so much attached to chanting Hare Krishna that you are not at all disturbed by me. Previously, I took the name of Ram from Lord Shiva. But today, I want to accept you, Haridas, as my spiritual master. I am appealing to you to initiate me in the name of Krishna." Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki! Another time while living in Fulia, Advaitacharya was doing his Shraddha ceremony. During the Shraddha, where you offer bhoga to Vishnu and then that prasad to your ancestors, the first portion of that Shraddha prasad is meant to be given to the highest, most qualified of all Brahmins. Haridas Thakur would come and Advaitacharya would embrace him, bow down to him, give him prasad every day. One day Haridas came to Advaitacharya's house and he said to Advaitacharya, "I think this is not good that you're giving so much affection to me, because I'm a very low, untouchable, sinful person. And you will lose your reputation amongst the high-class Brahmins if you keep embracing me and bowing down to me and giving charity to me. I am not qualified for your affections." Advaitacharya said, "Today I am doing the Shraddha Patra. You come." And in the presence of all the learned Brahmins, Pandits and Vaishnavas, Advaitacharya gave the first honors of the first prasad to Srila Haridas Thakur, just to show the world that one's spiritual progress has nothing to do with one's birth or one's family background, but it has to do with how much one loves Krishna and is attached to chanting his holy names. So Advaitacharya and Haridas Thakur were best, most intimate, loving friends in Krishna's service. In Shantipur, they both prayed that the Supreme Lord Krishna would descend to this world to deliver the fallen souls of Kali. At that time, the materialistic worshippers of demigods, the smarta Brahmins, and the atheists were constantly harassing the devotees, always insulting them in terrible, terrible ways and threatening their very lives. Out of compassion, Advaitacharya worshipped his Shalagram Shila with water of the Ganges and tulsi leaves and cried out for Krishna to descend into this world to save the fallen people of Kali Yuga. While he was doing this, Haridas Thakur was chanting the holy names in his cave very loudly with the prayer of the Lord Krishna to appear in this world. Due to the loving prayers and devotion of these personalities, Krishna descended as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord appeared in Sri Mayapur Dham on the full moon night of the Falgun season. When he appeared, there were so many auspicious signs. Advaitacharya and Haridas Thakur danced ecstatically together because they understood the Lord has appeared. They were dancing and crying and loudly chanting the holy names of Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was living and he began the beautiful Harinam Sankirtan movement in Navadvip, he ordered Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur to go to every house, every person they met at the bathing ghats and the shops and in the roadsides, to preach the glories of the holy name. He told Haridas and Nityananda Prabhu that whoever you meet without discrimination, you give them this instruction. Chant the holy name of Krishna. Worship Krishna. Speak the glories of Krishna. Krishna is your mother. Krishna is your father. Krishna is your real wealth. Krishna is the very treasure of your life. Krishna is your very life and soul. Chant the holy names of Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So Nityananda Prabhu and Srila Haridas Thakur were the first preaching party that Lord Chaitanya sent out to distribute the message of love of God. Such humility, they would approach everyone and beg them to take the mercy of Lord Chaitanya through the chanting of Hare Krishna. One day, Lord Chaitanya in the house of Srivas sat on the throne of Vishnu and began to fulfill all his devotees' desires by manifesting his supreme opulence of the personality of Godhead. This is called the Satprahariya Lila, or the Mahaprakash. 21 hours the Lord, who was usually always in the mood of a devotee worshipping Krishna, actually took the role of Krishna himself to satisfy his devotees' innermost desires. The devotees offered him abhishek. They brought tens and thousands of bananas and coconuts and rice and sweetmeats and water, and he just instantly ate all of it. They decorated him like a beautiful deity. And Lord Chaitanya was manifesting just the form of the Supreme Lord that each devotee loved and worshipped. To some he manifested the beautiful form of Krishna playing the flute. To Kolavecha Sridhar he manifested such a beautiful, beautiful form of Krishna in Vrindavan. To Murari Gupta he manifested the beautiful form of Lord Sri Ramchandra. And he was giving every devotee whatever benediction they desired. In this wonderful, wonderful Leela, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu turned to Haridas Thakur. He said, Haridas, your birth is so high, you are so exalted, I am just lowborn. I desire to be like you. Haridas Thakur, your love for me is so great that I am like a prisoner within your heart. Your humility and compassion has won my heart, and you're constantly chanting my holy names. Haridas, do you remember when those low-class executioners were beating you to death in 22 marketplaces? Let me tell you a secret. As they were beating you with their sticks and insulting you so terribly, I could not tolerate it. With my Sudarshan Chakra, I descended from Vaikuntha to sever these demon heads. How dare they commit so much pain to my devotee? I was about to cut off their heads, but then I heard your prayers. In your heart, you were simply praying, O Lord, please forgive them. Please give them your mercy. Your power to forgive them was so great that my Sudarshan Chakra became impotent. It didn't work. The power of your forgiveness and compassion made it so that my Sudarshan Chakra would not even move from my hand. Because you were only praying for the welfare of these people who so enviously were trying to kill you, I had to cover your body with my body. All the beatings that were meant for you, I took upon myself. Now you just see my back, the scars that were meant for. When Haridas Thakur saw the beating marks that were meant for him on Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's beautiful golden back, he fell to the ground unconscious. When Haridas got up, Lord Chaitanya was manifesting his beautiful, all-opulent form of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Haridas Thakur began to offer prayers. Lord, you are so merciful that you always protect those devotees who remember you. There is no greater perfection in life than to always remember you. But I am so unfortunate, I cannot remember you. I am the lowest and most sinful. When Draupadi was being stripped naked by Dushasana, she remembered you, and you incarnated yourself as an unlimited sari to protect her. When Parvati was about to be eaten and killed by dangerous, terrible demons, she remembered you and you protected her. Prahlad Maharaj, he was born in a demon family. His father, Hiranyakashipu, threw him into fire, threw him off mountains, tried to pierce him with weapons, and fed him deadly poison. But because he was always fixed in remembering you, you protected him. When the Pandavas were living in the Kamyavan forest, Durvasa Muni came with his 60,000 disciples for prasad. There was nothing there. What an insult. Durvasa Muni would have cursed them. In that condition, the Pandavas remembered you, and you appeared on the scene and found one little tiny scrap of a vegetable on the side of the pot. After you ate it, Durvasa Muni and all of his 60,000 followers, their stomachs became filled up as if they just ate a huge feast. Ashamed that they would insult you by not taking your food, which there wasn't any, they ran away. And Ajamil, he was a sinful rascal. At the time of death, he called his son's name Narayan and remembered you, and you purified of all of his sins. This is the power of remembering you, my Lord. But I am so sinful, and I am so low and materialistic and proud that I cannot remember you ever. But still you are so merciful, you allow me to serve you. That is your unlimited kindness. But I have only one benediction that I beg. Lord Chaitanya said, anything you ask, I will grant you. Haridas said, I do not deserve any mercy. My heart longs for one benediction. Lord Chaitanya said, ask and I will give. Haridas said, please grant me the remnants from the food left on the plate of your devotees. Those devotees who are so dear to you by surrendering their lives to you, let me always in every birth get the remnants of their food. Let me take birth even as a dog in the house of your devotees so I can get the food from their plates. I am so unfortunate. I am always desiring pride, recognition, and prestige for myself. Please cleanse me of this desire, and let me be the servant of your servant. Lord Chaitanya granted the benediction. You are such a great devotee that anyone who hears your glories or even associates with you will get love of Krishna. I give you the benediction that birth after birth forever you will always offenselessly chant the holy names and associate with my devotees. All the devotees celebrated by saying, Haribo! Haribo! So there are many stories of Haridas. After Lord Chaitanya took sannyasi, Haridas Thakur was so humble that he couldn't even go before Lord Chaitanya. When all the devotees were at Lord Chaitanya's house, the Gambhira, Haridas Thakur was on down the road offering his obeisances. Lord Chaitanya told the messenger, get Haridas to come here. Haridas said, I am too fallen and sinful, I cannot come before the Lord. After all the devotees left Lord Chaitanya's room, Lord Chaitanya went out to the road to meet with Haridas. He embraced him with great love and affection. He told Haridas that I will personally give you a place just close to my own. Lord Chaitanya personally arranged a nice little bhajan kutir, or a residence for Haridas Thakur, just a few minutes' walk from his own place. Because Haridas Thakur was born in a low family, the Pandas of the Jagannath temple would not allow him to come in. Thakur Haridas, being very humble and not wanting to disturb the social traditions, he never ever went into the temple of Jagannath. Lord Chaitanya brought him to a beautiful little forest garden. And Lord Chaitanya showed him, just above you is the chakra on top of Jagannath's temple. If you bow down and worship that chakra, you will get the same benefit as worshipping Jagannath, Balaram and Subhadra in the temple. Haridas Thakur made his residence there. Every morning Lord Chaitanya would go to Jagannath's temple for the darshan. After worshipping Jagannath for several hours in the morning, it was Lord Chaitanya's strict regulation that after coming from Jagannath temple, he would go to the residence of Haridas Thakur. He would personally bring Jagannath's prasad and with his own loving hands deliver it to Haridas. He would personally embrace Haridas Thakur and speak to him about Krishna for hours every day. This is the glory of the Lord's love for his devotee. Because Haridas was not allowed to go in to worship Jagannath, Jagannath in the form of Lord Chaitanya would come out to give him darshan every day. One day Lord Chaitanya brought a toothbrush made of a stick that was offered to Lord Jagannath as his Mahaprasad. He saw how Haridas was sitting even in the heat of the sun chanting his 300,000 names. With Lord Chaitanya's own divine hands, he pushed that toothbrush of Jagannath into the ground. Immediately it began to grow into a beautiful bakula tree. To this day that tree is still there. It is called Siddha Bakula. It is the mercy of Lord Chaitanya upon Haridas. For years and years and years he would chant the holy names of Krishna under that tree. Srila Rupa Goswami came to Puri. He lived under that tree with Srila Haridas Thakur. Whenever Sanatana Goswami would come to Puri, he also lived in that place with Haridas Thakur. During the Ratha Yatras every year, Lord Chaitanya would divide 7 kirtan parties. Each party would have a lead singer and a lead dancer. Lord Chaitanya would select Haridas Thakur each year to be the lead dancer. After many years, Haridas Thakur became very, very old. One day, Lord Chaitanya's personal servant Govinda came to give prasad to Haridas. Haridas said, "I have not completed my chanting, so I cannot take this prasad." But then he bowed down to the prasad and took one morsel to respect it. The next day, Lord Chaitanya personally came to that place, Siddha Bakula. He said, "Haridas, are you well?" Haridas said, "Physically I am fine, but mentally and spiritually I am in a diseased condition." "What is wrong?" "I am not able to complete my vow of chanting 300,000 names of Krishna every day." Srila Prabhupada in this regard explains, if we cannot perform our vow of chanting every day, we are considered to be in a spiritually diseased condition. This is the word of all the previous acharyas, back to Haridas Thakur and Lord Chaitanya himself. Lord Chaitanya said, "Haridas, you are now very, very old. You have descended into this world to spread the glories of the chanting of the holy name. You've already done that. At your age, there's no need to chant so many rounds. You could reduce the number." Haridas Thakur replied, "My Lord, I have one great desire in my heart. Please fulfill it. I am very low and sinful. No one more sinful than me. However, you are all merciful, and you can certainly fulfill my desire." Lord Chaitanya said, Krishna will certainly fulfill your desire. You are his pure devotee. Haridas said, I feel that very soon you will close to your pastimes on this earth. I cannot bear the thought of seeing the closing chapter of your earthly Leela. Please grant me this benediction, that before you leave this world, let my body fall at your feet. With your lotus feet pressed to my heart, with my eyes drinking the beauty of your moon-like face, and with the holy name Sri Krishna Chaitanya on my mouth, please let me give up my life before you. Lord Chaitanya said, Haridas, my joy of being in this world is to have your association. How can I find any happiness without you? Haridas said, my Lord, please do not create an illusion. There are millions of devotees so great that they are fit to sit on my head. I am insignificant. If one ant dies, what is the loss to the universe? Please, my Lord, fulfill my prayer. By your mercy, although I am so insignificant, low-born, with no devotion, by your mercy, you had Advaitacharya give me the first remnants of the Shraddha, honoring me as being great. This is your love for your servant. Please fulfill my desire. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then left to bathe in the sea. The next day he came to Haridas's house. When they came to Haridas Thakur, all the devotees gathered around him. Haridas Thakur bowed down before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya asked him, Haridas, what is the news? Haridas said, whatever mercy you show me. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu induced all of his devotees to begin kirtan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally began to dance. The sound of Krishna's name filled the entire sky. Prakreshwar Pandit was dancing ecstatically along with the other devotees. During this kirtan, Lord Chaitanya began to extol Haridas Thakur's glories to all the devotees as if he had 5 mouths. The devotees were feeling unlimited bliss in their hearts, hearing the Lord praising his beloved devotee with such enthusiasm and love. Haridas Thakur sat Lord Chaitanya down, took the dust from his feet on his head. Haridas Thakur took the dust of the feet from every devotee and put it on his head. He placed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet on his chest. His eyes, like 2 bumblebees, unblinkingly were drinking the nectar of the moonlight face of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. As all of the devotees were dancing and singing Krishna's holy names around him, Haridas Thakur repeated again and again with his mouth, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. By the mercy of the Supreme Lord, in that most auspicious condition, Haridas Thakur gave up his life. The devotees were astonished. They all immediately remembered how Bhishma Dev, by his own free will, gave up his life before Lord Krishna. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in such ecstasy of separation of love for his devotee that he lifted up the body of Haridas Thakur, placed it on his lap, and began to dance. Holding on to the dead body of Haridas Thakur, the Lord danced and danced and danced. This beautiful dance of ecstatic loves of the Lord for his devotees completely captured everyone's hearts. Swarup Damodar Goswami told the Lord, please, it is time to arrange for the funeral services. They quickly built a palanquin which looked like an airship, placed Haridas Thakur's body on it, and began a procession to the sea. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in ecstatic love, personally led the Harinam Sankirtan procession for Haridas Thakur's funeral. As he danced ecstatically, Vakreshwar Pandit and all the devotees were dancing behind him. Lord Chaitanya personally bathed the body of Haridas Thakur with his own hands in the ocean. The water that touched Haridas Thakur's feet was drunk by all the devotees. Then a hole was dug in the sand. Haridas Thakur's body was carefully lowered into that hole. It was decorated with garlands, sandalwood, cloth, and other remnants of Lord Jagannath. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, with his own loving hands, put the sand over Haridas's body. When his body was buried, Lord Chaitanya and the devotees erected a little monument. And Lord Chaitanya led all the devotees to circumambulate the tomb of Haridas Thakur again and again. The Lord and his associates then bathed in the sea, joyfully played in the waters. Then Lord Chaitanya went to the town of Puri, to the Singhadwaram gate near Jagannath's temple. Put out his cloth, asked the merchants, I am coming here as a beggar, appealing to you to please give me food to celebrate a grand feast in honor of the disappearance of Haridas Thakur. Each shopkeeper was bringing baskets and baskets of prasad of Jagannath. Lord Damodar said, my lord, you wait. He asked each shopkeeper, just bring 2 poundfuls of each preparation. Kashi Mishra and other devotees brought large quantities of prasad. Lord Chaitanya had all the devotees and others sitting in rows. He began to personally serve the prasad. But Lord Chaitanya loved to serve large quantities of prasad. One hand of Lord Chaitanya fit what 5 people couldn't eat. Lord Damodar said, no one will take prasad until you begin. Lord Chaitanya sat with Brahmananda Puri and Paramananda Puri. Swaramprabhu, Jagadananda, Kashishwar and Shankar were the 4 servers of prasad. Lord Chaitanya kept ordering the servers, give them more, give them more. To please the Lord, all the devotees ate prasad up to their necks. Then Lord Chaitanya personally garlanded each devotee and put sandalwood on them. Then he gave a benediction to everyone. He said, Srila Haridas Thakur was the crown jewel in this universe. But now the universe has lost its most precious jewel. By the mercy of Krishna, he has given me the association of Haridas Thakur. But now by his own sweet will, he has taken that association away. Haridas Thakur chanted the holy name of the Lord constantly. He spread the glories of the holy name throughout the world. Anyone who has come to this festival, anyone who has helped to bathe the body of Haridas in the sea, anyone who has helped to bury his body, anyone who is taking this prasad today, anyone who hears and chants the glories of Haridas Thakur will very soon achieve love for Krishna. Now everyone very loudly repeat after me, Lord Chaitanya said. Srila Haridas Thakur ki! Yeah! Srila Haridas Thakur ki! Yeah! Srila Haridas Thakur ki! Yeah! After giving this benediction, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to his home, feeling simultaneously blissful that Haridas has perfected his life and sad that he was bereft of his association. Haridas Thakur, although from such a simple background, was considered to be most intimate, loving associate of Lord Chaitanya, the supreme and most important of all the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Trinarapi sunichena, tarorapi sahishnana, amanina manadena kirtaniya sadhari. to be more humble than a blade of grass, to be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, to offer all respects to others and expect none in return. In this mood, we can chant the holy name of the Lord. Srila Haridas Thakur taught us by his example how to live by this principle and win the heart of the Supreme Personality of God. Krishna is all attractive, but it is Krishna's supreme opulence that he personally is attracted by the humility and the love of his devotee. So on this very, very auspicious day of the disappearance of Srila Haridas Thakur, let us remember his divine example. And let us give our life to follow in his holy footsteps. To be the humble servant of the servant of his servant. It is this gift that Srila Prabhupada has given us. Thank you very much.